Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got scoring tiles on my rack, but I've also got duplicates. And I don't have a bingo with this rack, either a 7 or an 8. But it should be fairly straightforward to sort out. Warm and More both play off 2 of my 3 scoring tiles and sort out the duplicates. I've also got Warp and Wrap. Wow, fantastic start for my opponent. 68-point bingo. And quite a few floaters to consider. I don't think there's a bingo here, but I do just need to rule that out in my mind. Yeah, I can't see one. So, do any of my candidate moves play as in Warm and Warp? I'm not sure they do. I've got pre-warm, but that doesn't get doubled. Well, I've got wrap for 21. That scores more than pre-warm. It's not particularly dangerous. And the rack leave is better than pre-warm. Well, no duplicates. Now, Boardman is good through an A. No A available. But my opponent may be tempted to play across from H1 and provide a floating A. What about the I? Can't see anything with that. And the G doesn't look like a particularly helpful letter to go with this rack. PI takes nothing in front. So can I get my B or M above AT? So OA could go above that. So I have DWEEB, which would score well and leave an OK rack lead. Now, what about the E? That's available for the start of a bingo. Can't see anything with this rack. Now, do I have a play from H1 across? It would need to end in O. So I have Mano. Not great. That's been blocked. The DWEEB spot is still available. Do these floaters help me? I don't think so. Just the B and the L to consider. So, DWEEB it is. Hopefully I'll draw a couple of vowels. 32 points. Quite a good score. Just the one vowel. While the I of tearing remains available, I've got warming. I don't think there will be any bingos with this rack. Now, O rather takes a few floaters in front of it. Nothing that I've got. And Bat takes nothing in front, so the top left isn't working for me with this rack. My opponent plays Quell. Nice play by him. And I'm about 80 points behind. So I have warming for 19. Not great. It's usually nice to see the Z, but the rest of the rack is pretty ropey, and it's hard to see many plays with this rack. I've got Z, but that keeps double NT, not great. And that plays in column 11. One M has gone, so I may consider playing just Z and retaining the M. But I wouldn't wish to retain four consonants and no vowels. My opponent plays there. Nice score for him. I'm now 140 points behind, so... Well, sorry, 110 points behind, which is much better. So, what to do with this rack? Through a D, I would have 10 dens. I can't quite fit in Metzi in column 12. What I could do, though, is play men, retaining the Z and a blank for next go, and scoring 36 points, which is a pretty good score. So I think I will do this. More horror. This rack is a long way away from a bingo. Well, I was just considering playing Zesty there, but my opponent's on fire, 96 points. He's now got a 170-point lead. And I have a poor rack. I could play Zesty at L1 across. It gifts my opponent a column 1 triple word Z play, and it leaves double N on my rack with 2 unseen, so that's not great. Both blanks have now gone. The one good point about Zesty is the score, and I'm not seeing any other candidate plays. Low takes an A in front of it. Ed takes a Z. I don't have an A. And La also takes an A in front. But I think the opportunities available there do not justify hanging on to the Z. I can't see anything down from the N of Asinos. Can't see anything in column 13. So here we go. Zesty for 59. Not a great rack, but not a disaster. I do have scoring tiles and vowels. What I'd like to do is bingo, which I've not been able to do this game yet. Good grief. Another bingo for my opponent. He's now over or about 200 points ahead of me. How many bingos is that? Incepted, Tearing, and Nastiness. Okay, only the 3. It feels like 6. What can I do here? I've still got the duplicate N. I avoided picking up any more N's. I could play FOH, but that's retaining 2 N's, although only one more to come. Well, I could play Zarf. Again, retaining 2 N's. But the score is 48, which is good. And I'm opening the board up, which I guess is good. Still 30 tiles to come, so the slenderest of prospects that I may claw my way back. Unlikely. Anyway, Zarf for 48. I do draw that elusive final N. Honan is good. That would play under the E of Asinos. Probably not a great play. I could play Hon or Hun, keeping 2 N's. Wow, look at this. Both of us have only used about 5 minutes of our time, and almost 3/4 of the tiles have been played. So quite a pacey game. No blanks to come, just looking at the remaining tiles. Only 2 E's, a ton of those, and I's, and U's. Both V's still waiting for me. Opponent taking a while on this move. I don't think Honam would be the right play. It just makes it too easy for my opponent to score in column 15 or column 14, regardless of his rack. My H can go underneath the S, but only my S goes under AY, so that's not a promising spot. I could play Hun underneath Incepted. Row A, quite hot for 7-letter bingos, and row C. I could play Anon in column 8, but that doesn't score very much and only burns 1 N. Opponent goes in that spot. Well, my camera suddenly switched off then. I don't know why. I've switched it back on. I'm not sure how much was missed. I do finally have a bingo E rack. I've got the anti-prefix. Do I have anything with the F or the R? I don't think so. Are there any 7s with this rack? Can't see any. So 16 tiles left. Asinos doesn't take anything after it. Tearing, I don't think, takes an S. So bingo prospects are really in the bottom 3 rows. I'm only 170 behind. I thought it was a lot more. So what to do with this rack? I certainly need to play off the duplicates. So I could play in, on, and die. And that stops my opponent scoring heavily in row C. I could place my A underneath the J, but then I wouldn't have this particular rack leave, and I like this 5-letter set. Okay, a nice-ish rack, good scoring tile in the Y. Can't see anything beginning with the R or the F. But I could play OY somewhere and leave the same decent rack leave. And I could play that in column 13, making no and oi, opening up a bingo lane in column 14. I don't have anything which goes after OD apart from the S, so I can't place my Y under HE and play across. Column 8 available for bingos running through E and N with an S or a T after wrap. Can't see anything which fits the bill. But there will be a variety of places to play off the Y and probably the O. Just looking again at the R, the most promising of the floaters, but I'm not seeing anything. Okay, a few new floaters to consider. Can't see anything with the V or the I. or the E. So there goes the final E, but it is at least available as a floater. So what I'm thinking about doing is playing OY here to open up column 14. The remaining tiles not particularly nice, certainly not with these 3 U's and a V. So I want to play off just a couple of tiles, and maybe my opponent will be distracted by column 14. I am at least opening up column 14 to go with the floaters in naive. 11 points is a pretty grim score. So is there something better to do? I don't think so. Still an S to come. One option would be to play NOY, opening column 15. I don't think I need to do that. So I'm going with this. I have Atonias, which does play in column 14. Do I have anything through the V or the E? Can't see anything with the V. Well, I was going to say ovations, but I would need one of my A's to be an O. And Atonias plays in 2 spots in column 14. Both blocked, but Fugu takes an S, so I do have Atonias now for more. Down here. 84 points. And I'm now 110 behind. I've got Hake on my rack, which is valid. It goes with an A and a U after it. Can't see anywhere to play Hake on this board. Well, row J, Hake and K. Pretty good. Is there a second out spot? I don't need to find that. I've got my play. Hake for 29. And the final score, 384 to me, 488 to my opponent, a winning margin of 104 points. So well done to my opponent. He had a rip-roaring game. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go fast. He played tearing. And I now play Rap for 21. Pram was available, running across the top of tearing, but retaining the W. And I think the extra points make that a better play. My opponent plays Blee. I thought for a moment that was a missed bingo. It's not. So I played DWEEB for 32, and I like that. The opponent plays Quell, and now I play Warming for 19. I could have got 15 more points, but GNRW, not very nice. That's for MNA across there, but probably not much between those, especially with the floating eye of tearing available. Opponent's rack, he plays Plex. He also has Capex at a 11. Okay, Plex probably better because it doesn't open up row A. Now, this wasn't a great rack. Metzi C9. Running down the left of Warming. Very nice. I was looking down the right, but not the left. So 45 points, pretty good. I played Men for 36, and that's only 9 fewer points. It avoids the duplicate, and it keeps the vowel and the Z. So I think Men is better, but it would have been nice to have spotted Metzi. Great rack for my opponent. He's got Asinos for 96. And now at this point, I'm 180 behind. I play Zesty for 59. Well, let's see the options. Yeah, Zesty the only sensible option, I think. Opponent has Incepted, which was a good spot. Enticed also available. And now I play Tsar for 48, and that looks fine. This looks so close to a bingo, but there isn't one there. And I think this is when my opponent took a while. He plays Dite. And Honan I thought about across from the E. I didn't like it. So what did I do? I played Hun for 26. Yeah, and I still prefer that. My opponent's rack has finally deteriorated. He plays Dojo. Great, I didn't miss a bingo here. I thought I may have done. What did I do? I played in for 20, keeping a good... Sorry, in for 11, keeping a decent rack leave. Isotin C2. 27 more points. Well, the rack lever stain is going to be worth in that order, so I think in is okay. And if you want to check the value of a rack leave, you can do so online at Cross Tables, which I think is hyphenated, and you then go to a section marked Study and Leave Evaluator. Choose your dictionary, either CSW or TWL. So you want CSW for Collins, and then you can type in your leave and say STAIN, and it will tell you the value of that leave. And I would guess that's going to be in the order of about plus 25, or at least 20, I think. Anyway, you're welcome to check that out. Now, I play in, opponent plays naive. C13. Because Odar is good, which I didn't spot and should have done. So I think YA was the play there. Instead, I opened a bingo lane with OY. Horrible rack for my opponent. He plays Fugu. And that's good for me because I finally do have a bingo with Atonias. Opponent plays Sov. And finally, Hake is the only out at J2. So a strange game. I only got one bingo down, and that was right at the end of the game. My opponent was zooming away. That's just the way it goes sometimes. But you still have a challenge with each rack to find the winningest play, or the least losingest. So I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.